George, good morning. Yeah, look, I identify as Latinos, but sometimes I say Hispanic, sometimes Cuban-American, or I may spice it up with Cubanito. The truth is, it can be really confusing, especially with new words added to the lexicon. So this morning, we explain it all right here.
We don't care. We do not want to be labeled Latinx.
With all these people using it, there must be good reasons for adopting the term Latinx.
Is it Latinx, Latino, Hispanic, or maybe it's Chicano or Latine?
Spanish, Latino, Hispanic? How should you refer to your Spanish-speaking friends?
These words are used to identify people by gender, country, even language. So let's break it down. Perhaps the most used in America, Hispanic. The Pew Research Center says some use it to describe people with roots specifically in Spain or other Spanish-speaking countries. Latino, anyone with roots in Latin America, regardless of language. And Latinx, that's if you want to be gender neutral. But it turns out Latinx, a word created for gender inclusivity, has plenty of critics.
Latinx. Please stop it.
One Pew survey found only 3% of Hispanics identify as Latinx, and some argue using these labels excludes the Afro-Latino community and erases culture and dialect.
I think in a lot of ways it strips our respective groups, right? Whether it be Mexicano, Chicano, whether it be from Nicaragua, from Guatemala. And there's a lot of differentiation and distinctness that I believe we all need to honor.
And to do that, it means bridging the generational gap.
We need to have the dialogue with the elders and education and real understanding. This is about inclusivity.
And listen, just about everyone I know has a different opinion on this. At the end of the day, it's all about how each individual identifies. If you learn that and respect it, it's all good. Hey, make sure to check out our Hispanic Heritage Month inspiration list celebrating those making history in 2021. It's all on our website right now, goodmorningamerica.com.
Pablo, so after watching this GMA video, really talking about Latinx, the labels, Latino, Hispanic, it got me to thinking, I got to reach out to Pablo and really just get his thoughts on. Pablo, if I was to ask you, like, how do you describe yourself, in terms of labels?
I mean, I'm a Latino, but if somebody calls me Latinx, I'm not offended. I'm just like, whatever. Like, Latino is how I will call myself. I would say shout out to Gio Benitez, though, on that segment, because, it's sort of one of those interesting things where it's like there was a poll by the Pew Hispanic group, or the Pew Research Group anyway, showing that very, very, very few Latinos in the United States use the term Latinx. Now,
Yeah,
I live
believe it
out
was
in
3%, like 3%.
3%, and it was all like young people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most people over a certain age had never even heard of the term. So I think it's like segments like that Gio did that kind of like, in some sense, put it on the map, because GMA is seen sort of everywhere.
Yeah.
And people haven't been hearing about like this like Latinx conversation that's sort of like raging in the Latino community, then they will now through these types of segments. But because it's funny, like out in LA at the LA Times, you got some of these reporters and they'll tweet like, and they'll use the word Latinx. So there's actually have a newsletter by Fidel Martinez called the Latinx Files. And it's almost like, regardless of what the story is, regardless of what like the subject matter is of the actual tweet, the whole conversation ends up being about the word Latinx.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I've seen those threads in the past, and they just kind of evolve into, like you said, a not even a conversation. Sometimes it's like more like a little bit of an argument in terms of the label. And I kind of find it interesting because, I mean, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, Chicano, whatever you want to label yourself. I think it's just kind of a way that over the years, it's just like a reason to infight, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, I like you. I mean, I say Latino, I say Hispanic. I haven't said Chicano since I was an undergrad, because I was part of Mecha, and that's when we talked about Chicano. I have a degree in Chicano studies, so people ask me, that's what I studied. But at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't matter, man. It's like, what's the topic that we're really trying to discuss, and let's not get caught up on the labels.
Yeah, no, there's actually, Julio's got a new series out with Latino Rebels called Label X.
Oh, that's
and it kind of pokes
awesome.
fun at it pokes fun at the sort of ridiculousness of it. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's like with Latinx, it's more of a West Coast thing, I think.
Yeah.
But I hear it here too. It's just I always hear it from like young people, like Gen
Right.
Z uses Latin, or a lot of them I hear use Latinx. Like the younger down, like you get, it becomes more of a popular term, and you know, in matters of styled guide, I'm always
Right.
gonna swim with the youth. You know what I mean? Because it's not old guys like us who decides what's fashionable anymore. It's
Yeah, exactly.
it's them, right? So
You know, it's
like,
funny. It's funny you say that. It's not old guys like us that decides what's fashionable. So I'm kind of curious, you know, as we kind of wrap up this segment, just because I thought this video was just interesting because it's like, again, we're in Hispanic Heritage Month. I wasn't surprised that this Latinx topic would come up during this month, but I'm genuinely curious what our viewers think. For those viewers that are following our channel that are Latino, Hispanic, Chicano, you know,
Latina.
Latinx, Latina, you know, whatever it is, I wonder what your thoughts are and how you not define yourself, but like, what are your thoughts? And definitely comment in the comment section and let us know what you think.
Yep, and shout out to Gio Benitez. Let us know what your label is in the comments. And Ivan,
That's a
as
wrap.
we say, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.